What's going on YouTube? Steve V here with another video. Hope everybody's doing well out there. And as always, appreciate you guys clicking that video and coming in to the Mancave Arcade and hanging out with me for a little while. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Nintendo Switch 2. I've been watching a lot of videos on this console and I gotta say I'm pretty excited. But is this something that's going to end up in the Mancave Arcade in 2025? I'll let you guys know right after this. So welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys sticking around, and I'm really looking forward to talking to you guys about the Nintendo Switch 2 and if it's a console that I'm interested enough in picking up in 2025. Now, this channel is not usually a channel where I talk a lot of console gaming other than the occasional retro countdown video. You know, I've talked about my favorite 10 Nintendo games, my favorite 10 Super Nintendo games, and obviously I've talked about the arcades because of the fact that I collected arcade 1-up cabinets for quite a while. But when it comes to talking about newer consoles, that's not something I do on this channel very often, but I had to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2. And that's because, number one, I'm a big Nintendo fanboy, and number two, the Nintendo Switch is a console that got me back in to console gaming. I went through a good period of time where I wasn't playing a lot of console gaming. But my wife got me a Nintendo Switch for Christmas, and that really was a big game changer for me. And then when my son kind of got to an age where he started wanting to play video games, the Nintendo Switch was the perfect catalyst to kind of get me back into that console gaming and really enjoying some quality time with my son. And Nintendo has really been the company that's really kind of connected the dots for me as far as really getting me back into gaming, because they have so many characters that I really connected with in my childhood that they're still using today as their main mascots when it comes to some of the games. People like Mario, Donkey Kong, Link, Kirby. You know, these are just, four off the top of my head that I remember playing, their games back in the day. And now seeing, what's going to be offered on the Nintendo Switch 2, I can't help but get excited to play these new games that again bring a little bit of nostalgia, but also because they are new games, offering something new that me and my son are going to kind of discover together. So when Nintendo announced their newest iteration in the home console market, which they are calling the Nintendo Switch 2, which I do think is a little bit of a miss. I would have liked if they called it the Super Nintendo Switch, which pays homage to the Super Nintendo, but they want to go a little more generic, and that is what it is. But what this console is kind of bringing to the table is something really cool. It's taken the Nintendo Switch and really just adding to it, kind of like Lego blocks, just making a better version of the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo pretty much said, if it's not broken, don't fix it. We're just going to add to it. And that's really what, again, they did with this console. Making a bigger monitor, making bigger JoyCons, having the JoyCons connect by magnets instead of sliding them in and out, which when you slide the old JoyCons in and out, they do shake a little bit. So having these magnets, and from what I hear from people that have actually tried the Nintendo Switch 2 at some of the events that Nintendo hosted in some of these places for people to kind of get their hands on the console, it sounds like it's a very firm connection. And for me, I'm just hoping that it will last in the long run and not be something that's going to kind of give out in time. But it really does seem like it's a pretty firm connection, and it really makes for a comfortable gaming experience in handheld mode. Also, the fact that Nintendo is finally going to have voice chat and really allow you the ability to start, connecting with people as you play these games actually having them beside you. You know, you're able to talk to them in their own home while you're in your home. Obviously, this is a feature that a lot of other consoles already do, but Nintendo kind of bringing it to the table is pretty exciting. And the fact that they're offering, you know, a camera so that way you can also see your friends and family, pretty cool experience. And also you'll be able to meet other people that also have the same interest in maybe some of the games you play, and really just kind of enjoy the experience of playing with people. I also like the fact that with the Joy-Cons, you have the ability to use it like a mouse. It's something different, something innovative. I've never seen another home console do something like this. And correct me if I'm wrong, maybe there is, but this is the first time I've seen something like that. So again, if that does exist, let me know. But from what I've seen, you know, with people kind of, you know, using it with some of the games, it does look pretty fun and something that will add to the experience of you playing these games in your home. Now, probably the favorite feature for me is something pretty simple, but it's a big game changer for me because I just like the fact when companies kind of realize, hey, you've spent money on some previous stuff and we're going to give you the ability to continue using these things. And that's the fact that the Nintendo Switch 2 is backwards compatible with Nintendo Switch games. Now, I'm somebody that buys physical media still. I'm very old school and I like to own the actual game and cartridge because one day, if I ever do decide to sell my Nintendo Switch, what worth is that going to be if I don't actually have physical games to go along with it? Now, I'm not saying I'm selling my Nintendo Switch, but I just want to kind of make a point that actually owning the physical media, it's just something that to me provides more value because if I just had the digital game, obviously that can be wiped out quite quickly and you pretty much lose all your games. And say Nintendo down the line, obviously years from now, decided to kind of wipe out the servers, you got no games. Or at least if I have the physical games, that's not going to happen to me. Now, the fact that I can take these games and play them in the Nintendo Switch 2 is a huge positive. So that's something that really interests me with the console. And for that reason, I just feel like I'm kind of already ahead of the game whenever I do decide to buy this console. I got some games to play, even if I don't have any Nintendo Switch 2 games to play at that time. Now, this leads me to the question that I kind of provided to you guys at the beginning of the video, and that is the Nintendo Switch 2 a console that will be in the Man Cave Arcade in 2025? Now, the answer is hopefully yes. But I am not one of those people that necessarily has to have the console day one and as soon as possible. I'm somebody that actually prefers to let things breathe, and I really want to see what this console is about. You know, watch some reviews and kind of watch some of these games and seeing how they perform and people's experience with some of the games that I have some interest in, and that will kind of provide me with the info I need to kind of know when to kind of pull the trigger on buying the Nintendo Switch 2. I do think it is something that if I were to get it this year, it would be later on in the year, maybe even around Christmas time, and it could kind of be a gift for my son that in a way is still kind of a gift for me. But do I need it in 2025? Not necessarily. I'm willing to wait till 2026 if that's the right move after I see the info that's provided online with people's experience with the console that want to have this console right away and want to test out these games immediately. Now, there are some games that I'm already kind of interested in buying when the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out and I finally get my hands on the console. The first one being Mario Kart World. It looks like a phenomenal game. I'm a big fan of Mario Kart, and the fact that this one's open world and you know you could drive to different courses, and I've seen some of the stuff you can do in the game from the trailer. It really looks like a phenomenal game and a game that I would really enjoy with my family and friends. So that's kind of number one on the list as far as a game that I would want to buy whenever I do get the console. The second game I look forward to buying is Donkey Kong Bonanza, and that's because I'm a huge Donkey Kong fan. Donkey Kong Country was one of my favorite games of all time. That character and just that license has really provided a lot of great experiences when it comes to gaming. And one of the games I've been playing lately on my Nintendo Switch is Donkey Kong Country Returns. And it really provided a lot of nostalgia because there's a lot of elements in that game that kind of ties back to Donkey Kong Country, but it also got me excited for what new Donkey Kong games can kind of provide. Though I know technically Donkey Kong Country Returns has been out for quite a while, but on the Switch it's new, and it's new to me because I didn't play it when it was on the Wii U. I think that's the console it was on, but again, correct me if I'm wrong. So Donkey Kong Bonanza is definitely a game I want to pick up because of the fact that I like Donkey Kong. And I kind of like how this Donkey Kong kind of provides a whole different experience than any other Donkey Kong game I've ever seen. The third game I'm interested in picking up is Project 007. And that's because I'm just a big James Bond fan and I would love to play as James Bond and kind of experience a new story as far as, you know, this character kind of going on a mission and what this mission will kind of entail. Now, we don't know much about this game. Even in the trailer, they don't really show you anything. It's kind of a work in progress, but it's got me interested enough that I will probably pick up this game whenever I do get the console. And I'm sure I'm going to really enjoy it because I think they're going to put a lot of elements of, you know, the James Bonds that we know and love, you know, throughout all the movies and the novels, if you've read those. I think they're going to take a lot of those elements and really put them within this game while providing a new story. And that's enough for me to kind of be interested in picking up this game. And the fourth game that I'm really excited to pick up is the new WWE 2K game. And that's because Nintendo Switch has had no wrestling 2K games in quite a while. I mean, there was that one game that really provided a terrible playing experience. And from there have been no WWE 2K games on a Nintendo console. Well, Nintendo Switch 2 is finally going to be bringing that 2K franchise back, and I'm really looking forward to playing a great wrestling game, especially being a big wrestling fan. I want to be, you know, some of the wrestlers that I know and love and really kick some butt and enjoy some of the cool things that this game will provide, like story mode options, you know, playing for those titles. I haven't played a wrestling game in quite a while, and the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be the perfect platform to reintroduce me into playing some wrestling games on a home console and just enjoying the experience of playing all the things that the game has to offer. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video on how I feel about the Nintendo Switch 2 and if it will be a console that I will bring into the Mancave Arcade this year. Like I said, the answer is a maybe, but from what I'm kind of seeing right now, it seems like an amazing console that has me really excited. But I want to see it actually get into some people's homes. I want to see some reviews on the console, reviews on some of the games, and once I have enough info to make a decision, I will pick up the Nintendo Switch 2 because I know it's probably going to deliver. And again, from what I'm seeing, it's looking pretty promising. And at the right time, I'll fork out that cash and I'll bring that console into the Mancave Arcade. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks again for watching the video. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.